guys, so I am here at Audio Advice Live 2024 in Raleigh, North Carolina with my friend Nick. How you doing, buddy?
Brad, always a pleasure.
Yes, absolutely. So Nick is with SVS, and we've kind of met over the years at various shows. Florida Audio Expo was the last one. How's this show been for you guys this year so far?
I mean, it's been incredible. This is the largest show on the East Coast, and I think Audio Advice has done an incredible job of sort of broadening out what has been traditionally like a hi-fi show circuit. Like most of the shows we go to are very much two-channel focused. And we still have a killer stereo setup here, but we've also got our home theater next door. And I think they've really made an effort to try to raise that sort of expectations for multi-channel and surround sound and things like Kaleidoscape and some of the other technologies that are in the home theater world. Not just that very high-end two-channel. You know, it's funny, we were always sort of portrayed or even embraced this notion of being the guilty pleasure at these shows, you know, with the big over-the-top home theater system, surround sound, Godzilla versus Kong and Ninja Turtles and being that brand. But, you know, now we still have that experience, but we're able to step up with an excellent two-channel system here with our new Ultra Evolution speakers. And we've really raised expectations, I think. So we've had to meet sort of those expectations with some better front-end gear. We're running a Hagel integrated amplifier, which is one of the nicer pieces that we've ever had as part of our system. And the feedback has just been absolutely tremendous. I mean, one of our goals with any speaker that we make is we want to sort of give you the best of both worlds. We want to have the big dynamics, the deep low frequency extension, all that excitement that you want for a home theater setup, but then the refinement, the clarity, the transparency, some of those qualities that people who are coming in here to do critical two-channel listening with like chamber music or certain types of jazz, they really want to get the nuance and the artistry out of that listening experience. So we want to be able to deliver in all worlds, and so far the feedback has been just really, really positive. We had a gentleman come in yesterday. He's like, oh, so how much are they? And my colleague Ken was like, well, they're 5,000. And he's like, oh, so 10,000 for the pair. He's like, no, 5,000 for the pair. And he just sort of jaw dropped a little bit. So those are the kind of moments that we are trying to create here by having the level of experience that we do.
I've always been a huge fan of SVS because I feel like you get a lot for your money. And what I like about you guys too is, you know, like, you're not like, we're the best speaker company out there, right? Like you provide value for the dollar that maybe, you know, you can't get from like a higher end speaker because you're spending 20, 30 grand on a pair. They may sound amazing, but like, your stuff is much more affordable for the average consumer. And I love these shows, but sometimes when you're, you know, listening to certain speakers that are like $75,000 a pair, and you're like, am I hearing $75,000? So like, to have like a pair of speakers for $5 grand that sound amazing is kick ass.
You know, and the beauty of these type of events, we had a gentleman come in yesterday and he was just very transparent. He was like, I have 3 speakers that are all $5,000 in mind for my next purchase, one of them being our Ultra Evolution Pinnacle Towers. And he's like, I want you to tell me why I should buy yours. And there's a crowd of people in the room, including the CEO of Audio Advice. And so like, and these are brands that he sells. And so, you know, the you know, natural inclination would be to sort of maybe throw them under the bus and say, this is what we do better. But that's not what we're about. You know, it's very much, you know, painting a picture of this is a subjective decision that you're going to have to make based on what you look for in a listening experience. Maybe it's big, expansive soundstage and deep bass and sort of all the dynamics. Maybe you don't need that as much because of the type of music you listen to favors more of the high frequencies and the mid-range, and you want much more definition and sort of those octaves. And maybe the aesthetics are something that means a lot more to you for lifestyle reasons or for whatever other people who might have an opinion on that. And so, you know, I think that's why shows like this are so important, because you get, while it's not in your own room, the opportunity to go and hear these different speakers, hear from the manufacturers directly about, you know, the technology behind them, but also the voicing and the different ways that you went to market with these speakers to create an experience that is different from the others. And that's why, you know, we're never going to say, you know what, these are $5,000 a pair. They'll obliterate everything else out there, but they certainly will compete with models 3, 4, 5 times the price.
Wow, exactly. We always talk about speakers and value, and I think one thing that often gets glossed over a little bit is warranty. You know, how much are you covered through the years? And you guys have always had a killer warranty. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like your kind of basis behind it, like why you guys stick with it? You still have your, was it 45-day in-home free trial, or you pay for the speaker, but if you don't like it for any reason, you can return it. You talk a little bit about like why you guys stick with that. Have you thought about changing it, or whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a 5-year unconditional warranty, and really that's because we have such a low failure rate. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we can make that bet and say, like, you know what, if anything happens whatsoever, we'll replace the driver, the amplifier, whatever component has malfunctioned, or the entire model. And you know, I had a gentleman in here yesterday who had a lightning strike, and he had 3 of his 3,000 micro subwoofers all get fried.
Oh, no.
Called us up. He's like, you guys won't believe this, blah, blah, blah. We sent him out 3 new amps. He replaced them, and then now they're working like new. He sent them back, and the other amps, and like that's what we want to do is take care of people, because if we can create, you know, a lifetime SVS owner by, you know, sending an amp because of a lightning strike, then that's well worth it from our perspective. And then we have another bunch of other consumer policies as well that are really meant to, again, create value, make it rewarding to be a lifetime owner, but also we back up our dealers too. So a lot of these policies that we have, we encourage them to follow suit. And if people, you know, do have something that happens, if they bought it from an Audio Advice or someone else, we'll always take care of them. That's part of you know, what our brand is all about in terms of service and support.
I have a few SVS products. I have a 20-year-old subwoofer that still works. Yeah, the amp's probably on the way out, you know, it's 20 years old. But I've had 0 issues with it over the 20 years, other than a few times the grill, like the cloth grill, has just ripped. Just started ripping. I don't know if it was my fault or whatever. And this is before we even started working together, before I started YouTube. And I got 2 new grills, like no questions asked. I just kind of emailed support and said, hey, like this is what's happening. It was like knowing that you have that kind of warranty and you support your customer through the years is amazing.
Yeah, it's part of that total SVS experience. That's what we call it internally. Sounds kind of hokey, but like it's part of our ethos. Like we want to make an experience. I hear some rumbling.
Yeah.
I think Godzilla versus Kong just got fired
right.
up.
We're in
That's
an
why
audio
we have
show.
some
It's
fun.
going to happen. So.
But yeah, I mean, it's just part of, you know, when people get into this hobby, it can become a little overwhelming for them. And we're in the entry point into hi-fi for a lot of people, not just because of our price, but because of the way that we do social media and the way we try to make it really aspirational to have these experiences. So people come to us and they're like, I've never done this before. You know, I've only had a sound bar, or I've only had like a little Bluetooth pill speaker. Like really, I need to get, you know, some help getting started with some education. And our support will sit there on the phone and walk you through, okay, how big is your room? What are you looking for? Mostly music or movies? You know, do you like this kind of content? And so by asking these questions and by having this sort of process to really get people familiar with what they need to get started, and then following them throughout their total journey, even till the very end when they're calibrating their AVR and they have no idea what a large or small speaker setting, something like that.
Right.
You know, it just makes, it gets them more comfortable, and it makes them want to keep upgrading or keep continuing their journey to add more channels or to get a nicer AV receiver, whatever that upgrade-itis might strike with them. And that's something
contagious.
Yeah, it totally is. I mean, that's the one unhealthy part of this hobby is like just when you think you've reached your end game, it's like, oh, I could really do that. But that's, you know, that's part of the journey. That's part of the fun of it all. So, you know, you stay within your budget. You know, that's one of the biggest issues we have is people's like, I got a 10x10 room. I want 4 PV16 Ultras, our biggest subs. We have to talk them down and be like, you know what? We have so much wasted headroom. You know, you get 3 or 4 of our smaller models. You'll still get the same output, and you're not going to spend as much money. So that is the other side of the spectrum that we also help people with.
You guys have great packages on your website as well. So like you can save some money if you kind of bundle things together, right? So I do want to talk quickly, lastly, about your new Evolution series. So it's been out for 6-8 months now.
Not quite, about 4.5 months or so. Yeah.
I have no concept of time.
That's all right.
But so how's it been received from the community? Wow, guys, this is.
I think that was the brown note. Excuse me, I gotta run.
Yeah. He's got to get out of here. So how's it been received from the community, like from reviewers to general consumers? Like, is it doing well? Like, what's the status on that?
It's definitely put us in another echelon in terms of the hi-fi and the home theater speaker world. You know, I think our original Ultra series was very well received about 12 years ago when we launched it, and obviously the Prime series used a lot of that technology. And you know, it's phenomenal for the class that it's in, but these are on a whole new level. We completely reimagined everything we knew about speaker design. And from a technology standpoint, I mean, there's some things going on here that you just won't find at products at this price, with the diamond-coated aluminum dome tweeter, the acoustically centered time alignment, which is sort of this very difficult to engineered angling of the front baffle, which really gives you rock solid phase alignment and gets you that sort of sound reaching your ear at the exact same instant. And then the force balance woofer array, you know, these these dual 8-inch woofers on the Pinnacles and 6.5s and 5s on the other towers. You know, we borrowed that from our micro 3000 micro sub, and it just gives you this very evenly distributed bass throughout the room with authority and just super clean. And so, you know, from the highs, the mids, to the low frequencies, we really tried to do everything we could to bring a speaker to market that would completely demolish people's expectations for the price, but have some real technology stories that, you know, just haven't been rolled out at this level before. And, you know, some of the interesting comments we've had that I love is like, people, you know, some people will come in and be like, oh, they're so sleek and beautiful. And other people are like, they're so masculine and technologically like advanced looking. And so people form this sort of opinion of them that isn't sort of in a pigeonhole. It's very much all over the place. And then, you know, another person, one of our first customers, is like, you know what? I owned your original Ultra Towers. The biggest difference is I would say these are just more addictive. Like you can't stop listening to them. I just want to keep listening to them. And it's like, I'm just putting all this old tracks on, and it's like, I can't pull myself away. And when you hear things like that, you know, it's like, you know, you got something on your hands that's a real winner. And people are really gravitating towards it. So, you know, we're happy. The press is pretty good as well. We got at the cover of Sound and Vision, which is pretty nice. The reviewers are certainly taking to it as well. So it's been a great journey so far, but we're just getting started. And, you know, we hope to see a lot more of that positivity as we move forward.
Absolutely. Now, I reviewed the Prime Pinnacles way back in the day, and I think that for the value at the time that I reviewed them, that I had never heard anything like it. So I'm interested to check these out in my home. You're sending me some at some point. And last question. So you have a kind of a whole new line, so you can do a full multi-channel. Do you have elevation speakers that also are timbre matched to the rest of the Evolution series?
We do. Ironically, that was probably the most demanded of the new speakers. They wanted us to make a bigger Prime elevation, and we stopped short of calling it the Ultra Evolution Elevation because of what I just had to do there. So it's just the Ultra Elevation, but it is still very much a part of the Evolution line with the diamond coated tweeter and some of the other technology that's present in these. But it's a larger cabinet, bigger driver, so you get more dynamic range, more dynamic output, wider frequency response, and same mounting hardware. So if you actually had the Prime, you could actually just hang this on the same bracket as you had the Prime, and you would just get that better sonic performance from the new speaker.
That's awesome. Well, Nick, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to me, to talk to the people out there in YouTube land. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave me a comment down below. Let me know. If you're interested in a review of the new Evolution series, let me know as well. Nick's going to be sending them along at some point. Words today are hard.
It's early.
Right? Exactly. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.
Happy listening.